What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jordan, your favorite tech enthusiast. And all right. So this was supposed to be the one, the iPhone that finally nailed every compromise. Apple's marketing painted this the perfect picture. New cooling system, tougher build, the most polished iOS yet. And at least that's what the slick keynote and that $1,000 price tag wanted us to believe. But after a month or so, when the new phone excitement fades and you finally actually live with the iPhone 17 Pro, a different story starts to unfold. Not the catastrophic failure, but a series of small, persistent, annoying little flaws that I've uncovered. The kind that makes you think and look at the word Pro on the box and go, really? Pro, really? Today, we're not talking about benchmarks, speed tests. We're talking about the flaws of the Apple iPhone Pro lineup that does not get mentioned in the ads. Let's start with the first thing you notice, the feeling of the phone. This year, Apple ditched the titanium and went back to the solid aluminum, mainly to help with heat. And honestly, it feels incredible, dense, solid, premium, exactly what Apple does best. I picked the deep blue model because I just couldn't deal with the bright orange. I'm sorry, the cosmic orange. Out of the box, it's stunning, clean, with the slab of tech that feels and feeds expensive. For the first week or so, I babied it, I'm not gonna lie. Separate pocket, no keys. The Apple microfiber cloth nearby. Then it happened. Under studio lights, a tiny slither of nick on the camera edge, a scratch. Now, before the comments light up, this isn't Scratchgate 2.0. I'm not talking about that. That's for another video. Trust me, that's for another video. The ceramic shield rocks solid and the flat frame holds up fine, but those edges around the massive camera plateau, that's, in my opinion, the weak spot of Apple that never gets mentioned. Anti-diaxation doesn't clean perfectly to the sharp corners, and the 17 Pro camera housing is full of them. And engineering from iFix said that Apple could have softened those edges, but they chose to design over the function. So the protective layer is thinner there. For every MagSafe connected or bump chip to the color, the single scratches quickly make themselves the best of friends. I'm not even gonna lie. On the dark aluminum, they shine like neon under the light. And when you're paying $1,000+ for a pinnacle design, as in the Pro models, should normal wear and tear show up after week 1, week 2, 2 months? Should it? It's a flaw of 1,000 tiny cuts, literally and metaphorically. You either accept it with the marks and hide the phone in a case, which is, I do. That's the trade-off that Apple made. Better thermals for a more fragile finish. The software. Now let's move to the digital iOS 26. It's gorgeous, okay? I'm not even gonna front. The new liquid glass aesthetic is fluid, elegant, and to be honest, it's Apple's best looking software in years. But living with it day to day, it polished inconsistency. Nothing disastrous, just again, death by 1,000 tiny bugs. The biggest one for me was the keyboard. It lags at times, it misread taps, and sometimes flat out ignoring keys entirely. You start typing and it's like you've forgotten how to spell your own name. Now get it, I love autocorrect, but if I wanted to use the word fuck, that's what I put in, not duck. Simple. But I'm not talking about that. But if you have an iPhone, you know exactly what I'm referring to. Then there are the random glitches for CarPlay, which refuses to connect until a restart. The photos under LED lights show weird with the artificial colors. And the classic iOS habits die hard. Background application management still kills notifications like no tomorrow, which I wish Apple would simply give us a clear all when it came to notifications, which I don't know why they haven't, but I digress. Unlock your phone and a flood of missed messages arrive. None of this is a deal breaker, but it adds friction to the everyday use case of the phone. And as a pro user, this should feel effortless. In a month and a half in, iOS feels like it's still learning choreography, which is crazy, but that's not my biggest gripe. Performance and heat, specifically heat. This was the year Apple promised to fix the abysmal overheating of the phone with their brand new vapor cooling chamber system. To back that up, it had the A19 Pro chip, which is going to be running cooler and longer. Improved doesn't mean solved, because the iPhone 17 Pro still gets warm. It's not just for gaming when I do it. Try recording a 10-minute video, a 5-minute video in 4K, or navigating the car while charging it, or being on FaceTime, or using Apple Maps. You feel around the camera bump and it's the exact spot where the cooling system is supposed to happen. But better than last year? Maybe? Some people say yes, maybe. But it's not gone. And when I hear vapor cooling chamber, that's what I expect. And when it heats up, my battery life still tanks. Indoors is great. You step out into the sun, watch the percentage drop. Just saying. I lost 20% in 45 minutes due to the outdoor heat. That's insane. Aluminum disappears fast. But what's the long term? That's what worries me. It's more than benchmarks. Heat kills battery health. And Apple didn't lie. They improved cooling. They just redefined heat. So here's what I do know. Is your iPhone 17 Pro running warm right now? I want you to feel your battery. Do you notice inconsistency in it? Drop a comment. Let's compare notes. I look forward to, I want to know, am I the only one experiencing this? Now, the hidden compromises. Let's talk about what's the trade-off. I'm not talking about an outright flaw, but the design Apple made in their decision hasn't been highlighted. First, it was charging. Wired charging speeds are faster, 50% in 20 minutes with a 40-watt brick. Awesome. Wireless. I still feel like they've taken a step back, but MagSafe works with aluminum. Apple added a small glass window on the back to allow this to be a little bit more quicker. This alignment is finicky. Twice I've woken up to my phone that did not charge completely. Why? Now you may ask, it's probably off. No, I set it off center by a millimeter. Literally, just slightly. And it didn't charge as fast as I needed it to. Is that necessary? Should that be something that we should be dealing with in 2025? Yes, it works, but it should need an asterisk beside it. The bigger thing, Apple's tug of war between aesthetics and durability. We all want bigger battery. We all want better aesthetics. But at the end of the day, everybody's gonna drop their iPhone. They are chasing beauty at the cost of resilience. Sharp edges makes the camera iconic, even though these are rounder and not as sharp. So I love that about them. The chip. It's overpowered, blazing speeds, but it's cooking the battery. It's the classic Apple paradox. More power, more fragile. What do you do? In conclusion, after a month and a half of my experience, here's the truth. The iPhone 17 Pro isn't a bad phone. It's far from it. I actually love it, and I have the Pro Max. The power is unreal, the camera is best in class, and the day-to-day is still very Apple. Simple. But it also has its flaws. Not in a headline way like Apple Intelligence a year and a half ago, but minor things that start to add up. Micro scratches that you can't unsee once you see it. Keyboard lags. Heat that makes you check your battery more than you're used to. These are the flaws that Apple doesn't want to talk about or glosses over. It's a gap between the promise and reality. However, after 45 days or so, I would love to know what's your experience. Do updates fix it? Does the finish hold up? And are you still loving it, or are the cracks just showing too much that you have to buy a case? Let me know down below the good, the bad, and the buggy. And if this helped, like, sub, it goes a long way. And thanks for watching. And as I always say in my videos, stay locked in, stay blessed, peace.